You know that moment when a conversation suddenly feels off and you can't quite work out why? Maybe someone seemed rude when they were trying to be helpful, or you thought someone wasn't listening when they claimed they were hanging on your every word. These maybe are not communication failures at all, but just different communication styles that we haven't all learnt to recognise and understand. Autistic communication is not deficient, it's different. And when we understand these differences, those awkward conversations, those difficult moments suddenly begin to make perfect sense. Picture this, your colleague says that presentation needs more work instead of maybe we could polish it up a bit. You might think they're being horribly blunt, but what's actually happening here is just honest, efficient communication. The research shows that many autistic people communicate more directly simply because they're trying to be clear and helpful. They're not being rude, they're being precise. When someone tells you exactly what they think, they're actually trusting you enough to be genuine. And the flip side here is that when neurotypical communication is indirect, it can really confuse us. We should catch up sometime. Does that mean this week, or is it just being polite? I have literally only just understood that when somebody says we should meet up for coffee, they're not looking for me to get my diary out. It's just a polite thing people say. It's so confusing. Okay, so this isn't though about one way being better, it's about recognising that when there are two different styles crossing paths, there can be miscommunication. Here's something that happens constantly. Someone keeps jumping into conversations and everyone assumes they're not listening. But research suggests the opposite. It's actually that they're so engaged that their brain is overflowing with connections and ideas and they just gotta get them out. So when I interrupt, it's not because I'm dismissing what you're saying. It's because what you've said has sparked 300 different thoughts, and if I don't voice them now, they'll disappear. My interruption is actually a compliment. It means your words have created a cascade of thinking in my mind. But I get it. I know it's really irritating. I do try not to do it. The trick for people like me, the interrupters of this world, is learning to say something like, sorry, I'm interrupting because I'm so interested in what you're saying. Can I just capture this thought? Or I do other things like make a note of it, let people know I'm going to do that while I'm writing. When you do that, we communicate what's going on with our communication. It can really transform those interactions. Have you ever noticed how some people will go super quiet in meetings and then afterwards send the most brilliant email? That's not because they're disengaged in the meeting, that's just a brain that needs time to do processing in order to do its best work. Many neurodivergent minds will work like that, and we might seem withdrawn in the moment. In the meeting, we might be quiet, but we're actually taking everything in, connecting patterns, formulating responses, and then we come back with the brilliance. Silence, it doesn't mean absence of thought. It sometimes just means that really deep thinking is happening. Okay, so here's when things get really tricky. Research on masking shows that many neurodivergent people become really expert at appearing to understand when we're actually completely lost. So we nod and we smile and we say, but inside we're frantically trying to decode what's actually being asked of us. So this then creates a double problem. You think you've been really clear, thank you, and we think we should have understood. Neither of us realises that there's a communication mismatch. This is the issue, the mismatch. It is not anything to do with anyone's competence. How do we fix that? Authenticity? Communication? Anyway, nobody's got it wrong. We're just mismatched here. Something people rarely consider is that communication isn't just words, it's about the environment in which the words happen. So fluorescent lights, background noise, strong perfumes, all of these things are literally going to affect how well neurodivergent brains can process the conversation. If someone seems distracted when you're talking to them or they keep looking around, this might not mean that they're disinterested. They might be trying to manage sensory input so they can actually focus on what you're saying. It just might seem nonsensical to you, but if some guy over there is wearing a really strong cologne and you're talking to me, I want to hear what you're saying, but I'm trying to where is that smell? Can I get away from it? What is going on? Why would someone wear that? Cologne is my nemesis. The beautiful thing about understanding these differences is that little tiny adjustments create massive improvements. Isn't this true of everything I ever talk to you guys about? You don't need to change communication styles completely, just add a little bit of flexibility. So things like, try asking, would it help if I sent an email summary? Yes, it would, instead of assuming that somebody understood. Give processing time before expecting a response. Recognizing that direct communication often comes from a place of respect, not a place of rudeness. And if you're neurodivergent, your communication style is not wrong. You might choose to help others around you by adding things like, I'm thinking out loud here before interrupting, or I need a moment to process when you need a little bit of time. But these are choices, they're not necessities. You're not broken. Neurodivergent communication is not a problem to be fixed. It's a style to be understood. The goal isn't to make everyone communicate in the same way. It's to recognize that when different styles are interacting, we might need to adjust accordingly. So I'm interested, what communication differences have you noticed in your own relationships and workplaces? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments, because understanding starts with sharing our stories.